Right, so I'm here with Owen, who's going to be talking to us today about Cheltenham. We are going to talk about the playoffs, which is not thrilled about, but we've got to cover it. So, firstly, welcome. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, plodding along. Just want the football back properly now, but I
Yeah,
don't think it's been normal for a while yet. So
no. So, day of recording it is Friday, the something of August. It's when the salary cap's been announced, so we'll probably end up chatting about that a bit later on. But we'll kick things off with how did you rate last season? Obviously, finishing was it fourth after points per game?
yeah, finished fourth. Yeah, after points per game, yeah, fourth. Yeah.
So were you expecting it to be as successful a campaign as it was?
Uh, Definitely not. I think the back end of the season before we were playing really well. But I mean, it was still we thought it was going to be about a season or two yet of transition, getting rid of a bit of the deadwood and sort of just building on another season. So we were thinking maybe like mid-table, possibly like playoff push. But I think that nothing like it went pretty crazy last season. I think there was just a lot of momentum behind it. The way Duff was playing, the way the Duff had the mentality of the team going forward. It was everything was moving in the right direction with probably not like the best players. So yeah, it did a good job. It was really good.
Because from an outside point of view, especially dropping into the like League Two last season, it was sort of one of those that I don't think I'd have ever put Cheltenham to be as high up as they were. But the two games that we played you, I can't remember the result in the first one, but the second, you just absolutely blew us away. Both I think
Um,
both times we you were the best sort of footballing team over the two games that we played.
yeah, I think I definitely remember the first time we played you because it was away, and every away day we go on, we always go on the M6 and past Walsall, and we're like, can they just come down or find us in the same league? So it was a nice, simple away day, and that was probably the best away day we've had in years at your place, and I think we read it was 2-1 or 2-0, I think, and it was just it was a cracking day all round. There was loads of fans there, and it was just a good time, and I think I remember we played you around December, January time, maybe.
I think it was mid-January because we'd had a couple of good results. We'd won on New Year's Day, and then we went away to Salford, and we beat Salford away, and kind of thought, oh, could we get something from Cheltenham? And then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I think in comparison beforehand, our home form was like dreadful the season before under Gary Johnson, and then the last season we were just unstoppable. And obviously, we had one of the best defence in the top four
Yeah,
tiers, and we just rolling past teams. Really, it was sometimes making it hard for ourselves. We weren't the complete package, but everything was like the belief was behind from everyone in the club, fans. We had the belief that anyone who come up against us, we had a chance. We could probably beat them.
yeah.
Would be pretty strong. So yeah.
What sort of changed then? Because it does seem that, like you said, you thought it was going to be another season of sort of getting Duff the players that he wanted and the system that he wanted. But was it a case of just the players bought into the mentality and it just clicked, or what do you think led to it being such a good season?
I think speaking about mentality, they definitely bought it. They bought into what Duff was saying, but I think like he doesn't overcomplicate anything. I mean, Duff's probably a pain to interview because he's so to the point and he's so direct. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he's all about the basic fundamentals of football. Like he strips everything to normal and
Yeah,
just builds on that. And yeah, you don't get any crap with him. It's kind of just face value. This is what we are. This is how we play.
yeah,
Um, and to be fair, like not many teams in League Two can play decent football out from the back, and we worked on that. It's not been brilliant. It never is always brilliant, but we stick to that plan. And I think that's kind of just sticking with it and
yeah,
sticking to the fundamentals. Just worked a treat for us that season.
yeah. You say playing out from the back. Was it? I could have sworn I saw on like Soccer Saturday or something. Um, didn't your keeper clear the ball one game and it literally hit a striker and went in?
Yeah, we played Leighton Orient. and it was our lone keeper in Owen Evans. We got him from Macclesfield. And because our Scott Flinders broke his leg, I think a couple of weeks before. And we do. It was really unfortunate, to be fair. And it was hilarious because I was moaning about his kicking before, but it was just one of them mad. It was one of them mad events, which 99% of the time it would never happen, and it was just really unfortunate. Fortunately, from kickoff we booted it up, and Alfie May scored an equaliser straight away, and it was the maddest couple of minutes.
That's the way to get back.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, it's sort of, I don't know, those things happen, and I think you're either at the top end, it never sort of happens when you're in the middle. It's either that's the sort of thing that you go, our luck's not going our way, or you're at the top and you go, oh, that's annoying, but kind of funny because we can still win this game.
Yeah. I think looking back on it, that sums up the type of successful season we had, because that did happen, and we're like, 2 minutes later, we're going absolutely nuts because we just equalised, and it's like all forgotten. I think we ended up winning the game, and it was brilliant. To be fair, it was a good game, good crack with the away fans, and it kind of summed up the season. I think if you get going well, that them type of things don't really matter.
So when the playoffs was announced and who was going to be in it, I know a lot of our fans thought actually Cheltenham are the ones that we think. I've got to admit, I thought it would be Cheltenham Exeter in the final.
Yeah, we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves, to be fair, but we'd played Northampton twice. We drew 0-0. It was a boring game at their place in back end of December, and then we turned them over at home. And obviously going off that first leg, it was like we hadn't had just them 3 months off and not playing as a team together. And looking from that first leg, we're like, we can beat anyone. We're like, this is it now. Just have a sensible second leg, no dramas, and then go into the final. And probably were rightly favourites, but what happened after that was just anyone's guess.
I think it was like 4 games before lockdown, we played Northampton and we were 2-0 down at half time and beat them 3-2. And we played them the opening day of the season and beat them 1-0. And we were like, how are they in that position? And they just, something clicked for them. But what do you think did go wrong in the second leg? Or was it a case of Northampton upped it and that was that?
I think it's more about the case of the whole season. We were just quietly going about our business. And that one time, the spotlight was on us. Everyone saw us play unbelievable in that first leg. 2-0, comfortable, no dramas in the second leg. But I think that I was speaking on one of the Northampton podcasts going into the second leg, and I was just like, that game could have been so different that first leg. And going into the second leg, 2-0 isn't okay. We're looking good. Anybody would take a 2-0 lead going into it, but it could change in a matter. If they get an early goal, which they did, and we just come so off our own game, it was like we didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to deal with it, because we were normally obviously we played well all season, but most of the time we're going in as underdogs. You think, well, all right, Cheltenham playing well, but we could still beat them. Like other teams are thinking you could still beat them, but it just, it was one of them. I just think we completely come off our own game plan. We didn't quite know what to do. And it was probably a bit too comfortable for us. And I think it just got a bit too much for our players.
Well, my phone's going mental because we've just signed George Nurse. It's been confirmed. So I think you're right. Even though you were in the playoffs for pretty much the whole season, it was a case of you were still the underdogs.
I would say so. It kind of also felt like we also felt hard done by a little bit, because we thought, we were looking okay going previously to lockdown. We thought, well, maybe we could get automatics. There was no reason why we couldn't have. Going into the season could have, if it had played out. It was very close, yeah. And I think if we had one game in hand over Exeter, and I think even if we drew that game or won that game, I don't know whether we would have went above them or whatever, but anything could have happened. You can't say we would have been top 3 or whatever, but it was one of them. We felt good enough, we could get automatics potentially, but it was it's a hard one to take, but I think you got to kick on, you got to try, learn from it and move forward.
So something that, when we all know that if you lose in the playoffs, you tend to lose quite a lot of your squad. Have you managed to keep the core of the team together? How's it looking in terms of the class of 1920 going into the class of 2021?
Yeah, it's actually looking fine. We had a lot of our players already on contracted to next season anyway. I think the only semi-surprise who didn't stay on was probably Luke Varney, but Varney's 37 now. He got injured in the warm-up going into one of the semi-final. He was a massive player and a massive character and a professional, which you can't, money really can't buy that type of professional down here. But I think he was the only real surprise. But the core is there. We still got Broom. There's nothing really been torn apart. We just need a keeper and to replace the loans we've lost with good quality loans again.
Yeah. So who have you brought in? Has it been permanent or has it been pretty much loan like for likes?
So obviously the real big one, which we're all excited for, and we're kind of surprised that we got him. We attracted him as Liam Serkin from Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
Wealth of experience in the Football League. He's got promotions with a multitude of teams. Last time he was in League Two, he was in double figures for goals in midfield with Oxford. And that's for attacking midfielder, but can play sort of anywhere in the centre. So that's a really exciting signing. A big experience ahead. He'll be a good character, leader as well, probably.
Well, kind of like you said, with losing Varney, who has played like X amount of games, bringing someone like Serco in is like great. Well, we've lost an experienced head, but we've brought a younger experienced head in.
Yeah, that's it. He's got the wow factor of I've been there and done it. He knows what it takes to win promotion. He's come in, he's saying I'm here to win promotion. So it can only be positives moving forward. We've also signed Andy Williams up front from Northampton, and he scored in the final this year in the League Two playoff. He's a solid player. He's not a prolific goal scorer, but he's a nuisance, and I'm sure he'll be fine.
The thing is, signing players that have taken a club in League Two into the playoffs, it's not a bad thing. They know what they know exactly. Well, you know what you get in.
Yeah, that's it. And again, he's it just seemed like a sensible move. He'd been with our youth academy before. He almost come to us before he went to Northampton. And again, if you look at his experience around, he has been there and done it with Doncaster. He's done it with Northampton now. So yeah, another one who's been there and done it. He'll replace some experience we lost with Varney also. We've also been linked with Shane McCartan quite heavily from Bradford, which would be another good signing. Whether that happens or not, I'm not too sure, but who knows?
Say that, but with the salary cap coming in, some of the clubs with larger squads might have to start trimming down. I mean, you look at the amount of players Bolton have signed, and you think, how are they going to pass any sort of salary cap?
It's weird for Bolton because obviously they had to sign players anyway. Because obviously they had a threadbare squad. I can't really remember what Keith Hill brought in and whatnot, and they obviously had to have a bit of a transition. But it's like they weren't almost about to get liquidated, and they've gone doing like 3-year contracts for a 30-plus-year-old striker. All right, he had a fantastic season with Swindon last year, but who knows what, especially in a situation like this with COVID going on, no fans, no source of real income coming into the squad. It's a bit strange. I mean, I think a lot of clubs, it's going to be a real weird couple of seasons, not only getting used to the wage cap, but also sort of recovering with having no fans in the COVID situation.
I mean, from the sounds of and what's coming out of the club is that for Walsall is that they are, obviously every team in the league will think they've got a shot at going up, especially when you've got 3 automatics and it's going down to 7th place to hit the playoffs. But there is like a bit of a confidence that we've kept the core of the team. We've the players that were playing well the second half of the season, we've got playoff form and we've managed to keep all bar a couple, like you said, loans that have gone back. But the chairman, when this has all gone on, has effectively said it has paused plans and sort of 5-year plans and that started last year are kind of almost been reset again because of the situation you're in. Do you think it's going to have a big hit? Because something that I think it was on the D3, D4 podcast, there was someone from Cheltenham that said that the cost of playing the playoffs for the 3 teams that don't go up is quite extensive. So do you think playing in the playoffs and not getting promoted will hamper you for next season, or do you think it won't really play that much of a part?
I think with our ownership and with our board, we're very lucky. We're very shrewd and we're very sensible with look building towards the future anyway. And with our finances, we'll never go above and beyond what we can. Our board will never risk anything. That being said, the playoff was a massive risk to take, but you're not going to turn it down. I think because obviously you had to pay for testing, which was about a couple of $100,000 just to sort that out and that's also having to take all the players off furlough as well.
And which is a huge one, that it's not just you squad of 25, you've then got the entire coaching team and the medical team and
exactly along with the fact of your main source of income and everything you rely on being your fans. You've not got them there, which will be sellout crowds for playoff semi-finals, which will be your biggest.
The booze in before the programs, the extra merchandise sales.
It all adds up, and I think that was a massive risk for us to take. I think we know Duff knows his budget though, and I think the fact we're still being able to attract good players. Every club seems to be. It does seem to be still business as usual. People are making signings. It's all the right players seem to be going at the right level. Some might be dropping down. Wages are going to be shorter, but the players are in, everyone's in the same position and in a position that nobody's been in before. I think it's all a case of just adapting. Every league's going to be doing it. All right, it's not going to affect the Premier League or the Championship clubs, the higher Championship clubs as much as it would. But, a lot of teams down this level are used to, going by the book and being very careful with their finances anyway. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this doesn't get prolonged too long so that we can just slowly get back to normality, fans in seats and sort of a bit of income being generated.
Do you think your kind of transfer activity is pretty much done, or do you think there's a couple more that still need to come in?
Without a doubt, we need a keeper because our Flinders, who broke his leg, he's still going to be out till January at least. They're saying.
Flinders?
I think he's 32.
I was going to say, so it's a tough injury to overcome, and then get.
He's had hip surgery as well already. He had it the season before. So, I mean, but when he come in, it was as Butterflinders they used to call him at other clubs, and he's saved us on occasions. But also the way we play now, we want our keeper to be able to play with their feet. Flinders probably isn't the best with his feet, but then you're not going to get the best keepers with their feet in League Two level. They're saying we're going to get a lone keeper and a young lone keeper in. So hopefully, if it's anything like Owen Evans was last season, I mean, Evans was really good and he got in the playoff team of the season for the whole of the Football League. So, you've got to trust it. If we can get as good loans in as we did last season, I think we'll be okay. I think we might need another holding midfielder potentially, and maybe somebody to cover Hussey at left wing back because DeBayo's he's not taking the contract. So
So what are your thoughts on Duff? Because obviously he's a bit of a legend before he even became manager for you.
Well, he obviously was part of the team which got us up to the Football League the very first time.
Over 300 games for you, didn't he? It was something like...
He was a big part, and then obviously he moved to Burnley, and sort of he's been there and done it with Burnley. He's worked massively under Sean Dyche. He was under 23s manager at Burnley, and a lot of Burnley fans were shocked. I mean, Duff said this was the only team he would drop down to League Two for. But a lot of Burnley fans look at him as the replacement for Dyche. I know that's a real big step up, but they were he was like the protege, and I mean, he's been phenomenal. Like I say, you get what you see with him, but it's hard work. It's trying to play football the right way, and he's got a very bright future. He's a very good manager at this level.
Because is this his first club that he's managed? Obviously, you said Burnley under 23s, but is this the first Football League team he's?
Yeah, this is his first proper step into club management where the results matter as it would. And I don't think he got. First 10 games was absolutely shocking. I don't think he got a win in his first 10. And then changed his... He come in with a 4-4-2 philosophy, like the way Burnley play, and it just wasn't working. And he was aware to that, and he changed it to 3-5-2. And it's been a bit of a revelation. It's just trying to keep adapting it, keep changing the style, make little tweaks,
Yeah.
so we don't get caught out. But yeah, no, it's been real nice football to watch.
So looking ahead to next season when it hopefully resumes September 12th, do you feel that you'll be up there again? Do you think there'll be a bit of a hangover, or what are your thoughts sort of for the season? What's your head saying and what's your heart saying?
I think if we're to kick on like we did last season, there's no reason why we can't push again for promotion. My heart says we could get playoffs again, but my head says it's a very uneasy position in the just footballing world as it is.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what's going to happen in 6 months' time, where we're going to be, who knows what's going to happen in 12 months. But I think I'd be happy with my table. Just keep building it along. Hopefully have a push, see if we can have a push again. But I don't think it's going to be as easy. But again, I think it's quite an easy league this time round. I don't think the league's looked as weak as it has.
Yeah.
For a few seasons, apart from every team being up north, and we're the only people down south around here.
Yeah, the mileage list came out a couple of days ago, and like I think Walsall have got half the amount of distance to cover than Exeter, and you're like, oh, that's like Exeter have got like a long old jaunt, but then like yourselves were pretty high up there as well of like mileage that you've got to cover.
Yeah.
So
fortunately, we've got Newport, and Forest Green around us, and Exeter's quite a short one for us. But they're all just so like Barrow, Carlisle, and
I think being a Midlands club is quite nice because you've got like the jaunt up to Carlisle and down to Exeter, but you're in and around a lot of the team. Like yourselves aren't too far. We've got Vale that aren't a million miles away, and even like going up to Salford, it's only like an hour and a half drive, so it's not too bad. And Bolton again, they're not massive journeys. So finally, we'll wrap it up with what position are you going to finish, and who do you think is going to be your key player?
God, I haven't even thought about this. I'll go with seventh. We'll go with seventh. We'll nick the last playoff place. And
that's
I think
wise. So you're saying playoffs, but you don't want to be like pushing for automatics.
I think it'll be just an all right. It'll be okay. We'll just get in there by the skin of our teeth, which will be okay because normally seventh place goes up, like Northampton did. So
no one wants to finish fourth in
there. Main players is a really difficult one because if you're saying last season, I would have been all about Hussey and May and Tozer. I think Circum's going to be a massive player this season. He's definitely going to be the sort of catalyst of that team. But again, it's so hard to pick just one player because our squad in general, everyone buys into it. It's really hard to pick one starlet out of that. So, but yeah, hopefully same again. Nothing gutting like last season.
And then actually one more question. When I said that I was doing an interview with a Cheltenham fan, someone wanted to know why it's called the Johnny Rocks Stadium.
Oh yeah. It's just the sponsor. The sponsor is Johnny Rocks. He does I think like private hire driving. Like I think he drives limousines, and so he drives a lot of so I mean every commentator loves the name of the Johnny Rocks. I mean for us we always call it Wadden Road because that's what we've always known it as. But yeah, it seems to be everyone loves it. We used to have World of Smiles Stadium as well just not long before that. Nice. So
I think the Crew away was the best when you go to the ice cream van stand and you're like, that's absolutely brilliant.
That's it, absolutely.
Right, well, thank you very much. No doubt we'll be back in touch before Walsall Cheltenham, and hopefully, if we can go to away games or even go to games, we'll bump into you and have a cheeky pre-match pint or something.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant, mate. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers.